So of course, if you're taking care of a family at home, treating people at home, Mrs. Child says right in the beginning of her book that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So that saying's been around for a long, long time. And when it came to disorders of the digestive tract and the stomach, a way to deal with those was simply to prevent as many of them from happening as you possibly could. And that was done by combining a number of different plants with different foods. And even today, we continue some of the same plant pairings, and we may not be aware when we do it. We're aware of the flavors that they give, but we may not be aware of some of the health benefits that came along with these plants. I think we're probably all familiar with the use of mints to settle or calm the stomach. And even, restaurant owners know that when they bring you your bill, they often will bring you a dish with some mints on it. They don't want anybody's eating to give them nausea, and so you get some mint, which will soothe your stomach, prevent any kind of nausea. So peppermint was often used. Peppermint is the stronger of the common mints, and so it was often given. You could take it as a tea after a meal, or it could be made into little lozenges and after dinner mint. What we have done traditionally, and we've sort of gotten a little bit away from it, especially at this end of the garden bed since it's become more shady, what we used to do in this bed was we used to combine mints and basils. This bed allows us to talk about the plant family, the mint family, which is huge. And it includes plants that don't necessarily smell minty to us, like basil. And so basil is an annual, has to be planted every year anew in the garden. Mint is a perennial. And so by mixing plantings of mint with annual plants, at the end of the year when the frost comes and kills the basil, that ground is open. So in the fall or early in the spring, before we bring the basils back, we would simply dig around the clump of mint, cutting off all those roots. We would pick up the strong outer plants that had just come, take the old dead ones from the center of the clump, put the strong new ones back in, and then we could just clean that whole area up and then put the basil in. So I tell people, if you're going to grow it in a bed, surround it with annuals, and that way you'll have a period of time during your gardening season when that ground is open and you'll be able to control it. If you grow it together with a lot of perennials, then they're going to be all... And so we've got a little bit of that in here. We have to get in and get after it and keep it under control. We have, at the far end of the bed, we have the other common mint, and that's spearmint. In between them, if we walk down this way, I can show you another mint family plant. It's good to snip it a little because then it will branch. So we looked at peppermint at the far end of the bed. This one's called chocolate mint. And chocolate mint is a sport of peppermint. When a plant sports, what it does is a plant will grow up and one or two shoots from that plant will have characteristics a little bit different from the parent plant, and that's called a sport. And peppermint created a sport, and when somebody checked it, they thought, oh, it sort of smells like after dinner mints, chocolate covered after dinner mints. So they called it chocolate mint, and to keep propagating it, what you can do is grow it from cuttings. And then you can take cuttings of this plant, easily root them, and then they could introduce a whole new mint. So chocolate mint is not something that the people in the 1830s knew. It's sort of a plant that came from a plant that was very well known in the 1830s. Are you picking up that little bit of chocolatey? Sort of like opening up a box of chocolate covered mints.
Did you get it?
So these were things that were used to calm the stomach.